Hey guys, Taylor here. I am on the team behind the scenes at the Art Marketing Podcast, and I'm here today to give you a video demonstration of an awesome tactic described in episode 33. So you'll want to listen to the episode first to get all the context that you'll need. If you haven't, the link is in the description below this video. Alright, this episode is all about Patrick's strategies for targeting cold traffic in your Facebook and Instagram ads. So these are cold people. They're going to be meeting you and seeing your art for the very first time in the ad. So it's a very tricky thing to do. It can kind of be expensive because you're making a lot of guesses, and these strategies are all about making it a little bit more data-driven to give you a little bit more confidence in it so you feel less like wandering around in the dark and more like you're really starting to get better and better results. Specifically, the part of this video that, the part of the episode that we're making this video to cover is when Patrick's talking about creating multiple ad sets that all point to the same Facebook post. So again, the point of that is to collect all of the comments and the shares and the likes and the reactions on one single post. So you kind of supercharge that post and you get it really going with a lot of different input and engagement, rather than splitting all that interest into 3 or 4 or 5 different Facebook or Instagram posts. By the way, if you're brand new to the term cold, warm, and hot traffic, we have an episode. It's episode 3. That's where you can get caught up on that. You might want to do that before continuing this video if you're not already familiar with what the big deal is with getting your cold traffic and turning them into warm traffic. All right, so let's talk about this ad set situation. I'm going to go to my Facebook Ads Manager. Sorry about the blur. And to get started, we're going to create a new campaign. I'm going to call this campaign, and this is arbitrary, but I'm going to call it cold because that's the whole point of this. And then in parentheses, I'll put the objective of this campaign. I'm going to keep it as traffic, but you might also be interested in post engagement if it's something else, especially a contest where you want comments. You definitely want to go with post engagement for that. But for most cases, you probably want traffic to your site, so I'm going to leave it there. And that's what I'm going to put in parentheses. And then lastly, I'm going to write a quick thing so that at a glance I can tell, what type of ads are in this campaign. So, just making it up here, I'm going to say that this campaign is going to be for advertising my recent content. So I'll call it recent content release. All right, we're all set. Now I'm going to go down to the ad set area and create my first ad set. So this is where we're going to have 3 or 4 or 5 of them in the same campaign. And I'm going to describe it in a way that details very blatantly what the targeting is, because that's what's going to change from ad set to ad set. So you want that to be very explicit in the title of the ad sets themselves. So let's say that I am a painter. I am doing, specifically my niche is boating, and I'm trying to attract all of those boating fans to get, maybe a nice painting for their office or for their home that reminds them of their hobby. So let's name this thing with how I want to target people. My first hypothesis for a cold audience that might like my art at first glance is people with an interest in fine art and an interest in boats, / maybe boating. Those two things are interchangeable, so I'll do that. Boats and boating interests. I'm going to start with targeting people in the ages of 40 to 65 plus because I believe that group is going to be the most likely to buy my work. And finally, I'm going to target people in the USA. All right, I'm going to skip creating the ad at this point because right now I just want to get my ad sets all set up. I'll save that to a draft. And here we are in the campaign, and here is our first ad set. And now what I need to do by editing the ad set here is actually dial in all of those settings I said I would set up here in the title. So first we're going to select the budget. Let's say because I'm going to have several of these going at once, they're going to each run at $5 a day. That's really up to you. It's just, whatever your budget is what it is. And then we actually build the targeting like I said. So this one's already set up for us, US. We're going to dial in those ages I said I'd do, so 40 to 65 plus. Gender, I'm going to leave it at all for now. Maybe we can play with that later. And this is where I'll dial in my interests here. Fine art, boats, and boating. Now, the thing to catch at this point, and I set this up just to kind of trick you if this is how you're doing your interest targeting, is that you could read the sentence here. Include people who match at least one of the following. So this is going to grab people that are interested in fine art, but not boats or boating, which is not my hypothesis. I want people that match both of those interests. So to actually do that, you need to click Narrow Audience, and this is where I'll take out these and add them like this. Boats. So now it says, include people who match at least one of the following and must also match at least one of the following. And this is where boats and boating can be side by side because they're kind of synonyms. So now this is more accurate to what I was picturing. That's a little tricky part of setting up the interest there. So this is looking good to me. We might get 10 to 64 clicks, and it's on the broad side, but it's not in the danger zone there. So I like how this is looking. I'm going to come down to edit placements, and let's say that I just want to target Facebook for this, so it's not going to go over to my Instagram. I don't want it to go to the audience network, and I don't want it to go in Messenger. Just Facebook. All right, that is everything that I'm going to do for this. I'll publish it. So again, the whole point of this is to try out the audiences to find out if you're just assuming things about your audience or your target audience actually, that's not actually true, or if you're on the right track. So now let's create a different one that's slightly different. And for this one, I'm going to go against my expectations to see if I can be proven wrong. So I said I don't think people under the age of 40 are interested in my art. Let's find out if that's actually true. Because so much is staying the same, we're just going to change the age targeting here. The quickest way to do it is actually to hover on this ad set and click duplicate. And there it is. You can see that one is in draft mode, so that is the duplicate. You can also see if it has the word copy at the end of the title. So I'm going to edit that one. And I'll come up here to the ad set name and make sure I dial in, what I'm actually going to change about this. So let's say at this point I'm going to do 18 to 40 as the age group to just do a test of the younger audience. Maybe there's something I've overlooked in my assumptions. And the reason we duplicated it is that now we don't need to do all those other things. The budget's already in there, the location's in there, the age is what we're changing. And everything else is set up perfectly. Very easy. The placements are all set. Now I can just publish it. That just took a second. Now we have two. Let's keep going. Let's say for the next one, I'm going to stick with this set, with the older audience, but I'm going to refine the location. So really, if we look at my art, let's say that my niche isn't just fine art paintings of boats, but they're specifically set along the East Coast, maybe specifically, like the New England area. So let's try targeting just those people and leaving out the rest of the country to see how that works for us. Again, I'm going to duplicate. All right, that's looking good. And again, I'm keeping an eye on these things, making sure that it's not putting me in the danger zone in specific or broad. So this actually still looks good. I'm going to keep it. So let's say we'll stop there. You get how we could keep going, though, and create as many as we wanted, or really as many as our budget allows for. But I'm just going to stick with these three. So next up is to, of course, create the ad. So you first need to think about, what's going to make for a good ad. Given what we're doing here, we're going to make it very niche focused. So it's probably going to be a quick piece of romance marketing. So this is a quick story. It's not designed to sell the art so much as expose who I am and what I do to people that have never met me. I'm trying to make a polite first impression as opposed to a salesy, aggressive one. So I would come up with a nice ad that I like, showing off one of my best sellers, just the image of it, and I would tell a quick story behind it. Like, I painted this particular one after a long weekend trip up to Maine, and here's what I experienced over that weekend and how the atmosphere of the coast inspired me. And this boat was actually real. I saw it, marooned on the beach here. You're bringing people into the story behind your art, and you're not just trying to get them to actually buy it. But anyways, let's say that I come up with that perfect ad. What you need to do first is publish it to your Facebook page, your business's Facebook page. So at that point, it is a regular, organic, real post. After it's published, you're going to look it up in ads and set the ads to drive traffic to that post. So let's go and click one of these ad sets. I'll click just the top one. And now we're inside that folder of the ad set. So we're at the campaign at the top level, then we went into an ad set, and now we're at the ads level. Of course, we don't have any ads yet, so I'm going to create one. And now we need to name the ad. So just for how I want to do it, all this is arbitrary with the naming, but I think that this is going to be good organization for you. I'm going to call it today's date, 11/8, Maine trip story, And then I'm going to add some targeting details at the end so I don't forget. So the part that was different about this ad set was the New England element. So I'm going to put that there. Okay, here's my ad. I'm going to edit it. You should see your Facebook page connected here. And this is where you would normally create your ad in the editor here, but what we're actually going to do is toggle to use existing posts. So again, this is why it's so important to have already published it to your Facebook page. Because now we're going to click Select Post. And that's where you're going to find a list of your actual posts here. So if you see it on the list, just click it. If not, you need to grab the post ID, but it should be pretty simple because this is based on chronology, so it should be the top one. So you would click it and then click continue, and then it just imports that Facebook post into the ad manager here. And that is essentially all that you need to do. I'm going to save this out, and I now have my new ad pointing to the New England group. What I need to do now is create a new ad in the other ad sets. There's 2 left, so this is just one ad. Again, the easiest way to do it is to click duplicate, and then not advance on this screen. This time you stop on this screen. We're going to keep the same campaign because that's where all our ad sets is. What we want to change is actually the ad set, right? So this is the New England one. I'm going to add one of the other ones. So let's do the younger one since we didn't do that yet, and then I'll take off the New England one since that's already covered. So now this is going to duplicate into this other ad set. Again, change the title. And it should still be selected, the very same post, it's just a different ad set. We'll publish that, and then we'll do the process one more time. So now on the ad view, and this is for all ad sets, not a specific ad set, you can see my 3 different ads here, but they're all in a different ad set with different targeting. And all together, they're all pointing to this one post that's actually on my public Facebook page. So if you know about how ads normally work, an ad typically only exists in its ad form. It's not actually on your Facebook page, and this can actually be useful for, you know, showing a sale or a promotion to a specific group of people, but not others. But in this case, it's just a romance piece. We're just telling that story. We want to supercharge this and get people, you know, excited about your work from a cold point of view. So you do want all of that going to the same post. And in that way, you know, if you're getting a lot of comments, it's easier to manage because you don't need to check a bunch of different posts. It's all routing to the very same post. That's how it's done. Stay tuned to future episodes as we dig deeper into these types of strategies. And with any questions, just reach out and we'd love to help you out. All right, have a great day.